So Madam Web didn't work, and some of those other Spider-Man projects haven't worked, but something that did work, well, was Spider-Man No Way Home. And now, Sony and Disney possibly are looking for a way home to make some money, to make some cash, and they're going with Miles Morales, apparently. We've got the leak, we'll tell you all about it, and we'll tell you why this is a definitive, positive movement in the culture war. Hello folks, welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we endeavor to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. Absolute excellence every single time. You can expect that here on the channel, and always an attitude of gratitude for every single person who clicks on the video. That's you included. We're also very grateful to have Jonas J. Campbell returning. Jonas, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. My spider sense is tingling, though, that there might be some new developments here.
Right, well, let's get into this article out of comicbookmovie.com. And folks, we're going to tell you why this is a very good sign for healing all across the land. Rumor, Spider-Man 4 will finally introduce the MCU's version of Miles Morales. And we would not be reading this to you, folks, if we didn't think there was something to this. We have our reasons for believing that this rumor is very likely. This by Josh Wilding says, as Marvel Studios and Sony Pictures continue trying to figure out Spider-Man 4, a new rumor has surfaced which may shed some light on their future plans for Peter Parker and Miles Morales. According to scooper Daniel Richtman, the plan is for Miles Morales to make his live-action debut in Spider-Man 4. We don't have any additional details beyond that, but as hoped, it appears that the character will call the MCU home instead of Sony's Marvel Universe. Tom Holland has shared an interest in bringing Miles to the big screen for years now, and we guess the plan is for these two to team up before the younger web slinger becomes Peter's permanent replacement. I don't know if I go that far at all. Calm down there. Calm down there, Josh. It was myself, Amy, Kevin Feige, sometimes other executives from Marvel will sit in, Holland said, last June of plans for Spider-Man 4. It's a collaborative process. The first few meetings were about why would we do this again, and I think we found the reason why. I'm really happy with where we're at in terms of the creative.
Why would we make another movie with Spider-Man? Yes, why?
Money. I'm also a little apprehensive about it. There's a bit of a stigma about the fourth one in all franchises. He continues on. We'll wrap this up. I feel like we hit a home run with our first franchise, and there's a part of me that wants to walk away with my head held high and pass the baton to the next lucky kid that gets to bring this character to life. Tom, you're still a kid. Hang in there, buddy. But on that note, I would just say, Jonas, that one of the interesting things about all of this is that they're going to Miles Morales, apparently, to find success, right? So that's where they want to go. Isn't it interesting, Jonas, that out of all the Spider characters and out of all of the failures that we've seen, that there are two characters that seem to be successful, and that's Peter Parker and Miles Morales. And isn't it interesting, then, that apparently there is no stigma, no racial stigma, that suggests to either Sony or Marvel, with their market research, that introducing Miles Morales would be a bad thing for them. In fact, they think that would be redemptive and that would bring them success, one would imagine. After Madam Web, I don't anticipate, and we've talked about this before, I don't suspect that they want to lose again. Miles Morales seems to be a victory. And Jonas, I think that's very healthy for society, because it seems to me that it indicates that just as we've known since the 80s and the 90s and every year since, that the race of someone probably doesn't determine their box office success at all.
Oh, that's a very good point. But when we started talking about this story, I've been thinking a lot about the idea of additive diversity as opposed to diversity as a replacement. Here, obviously they've given him the name Spider-Man, which is a kind of confounding, because having two superheroes that exist at the same time, both named Spider-Man, it makes it awkward. And having these little bits of dialogue, they're like, no, it's just Spider-Man. I don't want him to be called Black Spider-Man, although Black Widow, other than the fact that that's a girl's name, would be an excellent name for and I'm talking about the costume here, a black costumed Spider-Man or Spider-Woman.
Right, because Black Widows are a type of spider. I got you.
Right. Despite the fact that Black Widow doesn't actually have much spider-themed stuff on her. I know about the gauntlets or whatever. This to me is good. Miles Morales is a character that, despite the efforts of some to make him unpopular, and I'm talking about people who make these things, he's a good character. I mean, he maybe isn't as fleshed out as the 60 to 80 years or whatever we have of Spider-Man, actual Spider-Man, Peter Parker being Spider-Man here. But given the chance, this could be a character that stands the test of time. My kids, by the way, spoiler alert, some of my kids are white. They like Miles Morales, and one of my kids wanted to dress up as Miles Morales for Christmas. Not for Christmas, for Halloween. He got Miles Morales stuff for Christmas. This is a character that I think he's a good, strong character. It's too bad they didn't stick the landing with the name right away, because now they're stuck with Spider-Man on the Spider-Man stuff and Miles Morales on the stuff that has Miles Morales on it.
Well, I just think it's important that we clarify, because, the critics who don't attempt to understand what we're saying, and they listen at a very low resolution. When we talk about the MCU having been an utter failure, when we talk about woke ideology and all of that really destroying entertainment studios, DEI has caused video games, at least the studios, to DIE. When we're talking about all of that, sometimes what they will do is they will conflate that in ways that are inappropriate. And so I think this is a perfect example of how we don't have any problem at all. In fact, we welcome people of different racial backgrounds being featured in entertainment. I think that's a wonderful thing. And that's been a wonderful thing for decades. So if you look back, Jonas, Will Smith, prior to the slap, pre-slap Will, was one of the biggest Hollywood stars in the industry. And that was great. I think that Denzel Washington is one of the absolute best actors, period, in the history of cinema. Halle Berry, for example, was tremendously successful as an actress over the last decades.
She's also quite good looking.
Yes. Well, so what I would say is, Jonas, is that we have known for decades that we had moved on as a society from a place where race determined your box office success. And that's a win for society. We should take that win and we should celebrate it. And I think that Disney and Sony, by going to Miles Morales, that they are also tacitly, implicitly celebrating that, because they're going from the failures of the Marvels and from Madam Web, and they're saying to themselves, how can we fix this? And their answer, I think rightly, is Miles Morales. Now, I don't want Miles Morales to diminish Peter Parker, but if we can do a No Way Home style matchup, if we can do an Into the Spider-Verse style live action matchup with Peter Parker and Miles Morales, I think that's the right way. I think that's the lucrative way for them to go. But in doing so, that means that going into, what would you say, diverse and yet pro-masculine entertainment and comic books is a successful strategy. And I think that's right. And I think that is wholesale different from the MCU and what Marvel has been trying to do with their latest incarnations.
Right. The only aspect of this that gives me a little bit of pause is the idea of passing the baton. I don't think that's what they need to do.
I don't like that either.
Yeah. So there's no reason. By the way, guys, if you're looking to make a lot of money, make a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie and a whoever you get as Miles Morales movie as well. This is if one Spider-Man movie that's good is good, and two Spider-Man movies that are good is also good. That's double good. As long as you're differentiating these, if you want to really do a Spider-Man universe, make two good movies. For those of there are people who will resist us on this, and then this is fine. This is, to me,
and I understand why
we would argue about comic books. The kind of people who say no, Miles Morales stinks. This reminds me of the '90s comic book arguments that we used to have, though.
Right, and that's better.
Yes,
Yeah,
and it's not about the race. And okay, maybe we can roll our eyes a little bit at the idea. Okay, well, it's a race swap version. Well, no, he exists in a universe where there was a Spider-Man, a Peter Parker Spider-Man, and he has a story that in some ways mirrors that Uncle Ben story, but with a twist on it. I like that. It's probably, I mean, other than making Flash Thompson into Agent Venom, this was probably one of the most genius extensions of a character that I've seen out of Marvel for a very long time. There's a lot here with it. And by the way, if you want to have diverse disabled, Agent Venom is a great idea. That's a great story, but you really have to stick the landing with Venom and relate him back to Spider-Man in order to do that. There's so much to be done here. and they could have diversity, actual diversity, good diversity. But I get the feeling they're hung up on some ideology stuff. They want that lived experience, which is the code word for they agree with all of our politics. That's not what everyone's interested in. They want a good, fun time at the movies, and there's no reason they can't have that with Miles Morales.
And I can understand the hesitancy that some out there are going to feel because they're going to be worried that Miles Morales will overshadow Peter Parker. And I agree if that's the way it's played, then that's not a good thing at all. And you know, but there's a positive path forward. And the positive path forward that I envision, and I hope the audience out there will go along with me on this, because it's not a definite, you know, you're putting this in the hands of people who have proven over and over that they'll ruin these things with their wackadoodle kind of belief systems they have now. But I'm thinking about Remember the Titans. And I'm remembering, you know, Denzel Washington leading that football team of boys of different racial backgrounds. If we could get another moment like that for the youth of today, where a Euro-descended Spider-Man character and an Afro-descended Spider-Man character work in tandem, hand in hand, and they do something amazing that promotes the brotherhood and sisterhood of humanity rather than the divisions that separate us, then that would be a very significant healing opportunity in a world that desperately needs said healing. Will Hollywood do that? I don't know. But I'm not going to throw this under the bus until I find out, because at this point, Sony and Disney have tremendous financial incentive to do what we've just described. It's just Disney sometimes, oftentimes, most of the time, seems to have an ideological, quasi-religious desire to not do what is in their financial interest. But we'll see how it plays out. Jonas, I want to thank you for stopping by today, and I'm hoping the live stream today goes very well for that Park Place. You have just turned on memberships. Tell the folks out there what they get with a membership to That Park Place, the YouTube channel.
Well, first of all, we have members-only content, which we'll be having some of that premiere before the end of the week. I'm looking forward to it. We'll be talking about Lost Media, and Tommy Tables is, if you guys don't know Tommy Tables, if you're on this channel, if you don't know Tommy Tables, you need to get familiar with the genre guys over there. But on our channel, we'll be having that. Of course, with the next level up, you get early access to videos. So if you have early access to this one over here, maybe you want early access over there. And of course, the Council of Waltz level will be doing a member stream, which everyone's invited to the member stream, but the Council of Waltz gets to be on the member stream with me. So, and probably Vash and Gulcher Casino and maybe even LW Ghost. So there's a lot of value that we're hoping to offer there, and you should come check it out.
There you go, folks. Go check out That Park Place, your alternative news source. But before you do, folks, click the like button, share, subscribe, and drop a comment down below, please. We would love to know what's on your mind. We read those comments. We care about what you think. And as we say at the end of every one of these videos, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.